This conversation is powered by Google Illuminate. Check out illuminate.google.com for more. Today's discussion centers on a critical analysis of DeepSeek R1, a chatbot and AI platform, and its recently updated privacy policy. The article highlights 10 significant red flags users should consider before entrusting their data. What immediately struck you as the most concerning aspect?
The data storage location in China is a major red flag. While DeepSeek claims adherence to data protection laws, the reality is that Chinese data laws allow government access without user consent or transparency. This poses a significant risk for users outside China.
Absolutely. That lack of transparency and the potential for government oversight is a serious concern. Beyond the location, what other issues stood out in the data collection practices?
The sheer breadth of data collected is alarming. Keystroke patterns, audio inputs, chat history, device details. It's an incredibly invasive level of data collection that opens the door to extensive user profiling.
And that profiling could be used for purposes far beyond what the average user would expect. Let's delve into the specifics of these 10 red flags. Let's start with the data storage in China. You mentioned the lack of transparency regarding government access. Can you elaborate on the implications for users?
The lack of independent oversight and the potential for government access to user data without their knowledge or consent is a significant risk. It undermines the fundamental principles of data privacy and user autonomy. Users have little recourse if their data is accessed inappropriately.
The article also points out the extensive data collection practices of DeepSeek R1. How does this level of data collection compare to other similar platforms?
DeepSeek's data collection is far more extensive than many comparable platforms. The collection of keystroke patterns and rhythms, for example, is particularly invasive and raises concerns about the potential for behavioral analysis and profiling beyond the stated purposes.
The policy also allows for broad data sharing with advertising and analytics partners, service providers, and third parties during corporate transactions. What are the risks associated with this?
This broad data sharing significantly increases the risk of data misuse and exposure to unwanted advertising. It also raises concerns about the security and protection of user data as it moves across multiple entities. The lack of specific controls over how this data is used is a major concern.
The vague language surrounding legal enforcement is another red flag. How does this ambiguity impact user rights?
The ambiguous phrasing regarding data sharing with law enforcement leaves the door open for overreach. The lack of specific criteria for data disclosure allows DeepSeek to potentially share user data without sufficient justification.
The vague retention policies stating data is kept as long as necessary are also problematic. What are the implications of this lack of clarity?
The absence of specific retention periods creates uncertainty and increases the risk of data breaches and prolonged exposure of sensitive information. Users have no clear understanding of how long their data will be stored, increasing the potential for misuse.
The extensive use of cookies and similar tracking technologies, coupled with the warning that disabling them may limit functionality, is another concerning aspect. How does this impact user choice?
This practice essentially forces users to accept tracking or lose access to platform features. This coercion undermines user choice and could violate data protection regulations in certain jurisdictions.
The reactive approach to children's privacy, relying on reporting rather than proactive prevention, is also a significant issue. What are the vulnerabilities this creates?
A reactive approach leaves children's data vulnerable to accidental or unauthorized collection. Proactive measures are crucial to protect minors from data privacy violations.
The absence of third-party audits or certifications further weakens user trust. Why is independent verification so important?
Independent verification provides an objective assessment of DeepSeek's data practices, ensuring accountability and transparency. Without it, users are forced to rely solely on the company's self-reported claims.
The ambiguity surrounding user rights, varying by location and applicable law, creates confusion and difficulty in exercising those rights. How does this affect users' ability to protect their data?
The lack of clarity regarding user rights makes it difficult for users to understand and enforce their data protection rights, particularly in jurisdictions with strong privacy regulations.
Finally, the corporate transactions clause, allowing data transfer during mergers or acquisitions, introduces further uncertainty. What are the long-term implications of this?
This clause creates uncertainty about the future control and protection of user data. Users have no guarantee that their data will remain secure or be handled responsibly after a corporate transaction.
Considering all these red flags, what advice would you give to potential users of DeepSeek R1?
Users should carefully weigh the convenience of using DeepSeek R1 against the significant risks to their data privacy. The platform's data practices raise serious concerns, and users should prioritize their data security above convenience. Consider alternatives with stronger privacy protections.
Excellent points. Thank you for shedding light on these critical issues. It's crucial for users to be aware of these potential risks before sharing their data with any platform. This discussion has highlighted the importance of scrutinizing privacy policies before using any AI platform. The 10 red flags identified in DeepSeek R1's policy serve as a stark reminder of the potential vulnerabilities associated with data sharing. Thank you for this insightful discussion.